Okay, I didn't cheat. I just changed the tape. Yeah, it gets over 50 minutes, and then it's like, it just takes two. And then the editor file starts to corrupt if you make so many changes, so I gotta keep it. But I whittle out all the snorts and stuff, so Brian has completed the Cavalcade's text in workbook. Is this 6th grade? Oh, yeah. So they had the SRA books, and, the color, red, green, blue, blah, blah, up to gold, silver, and then gold. And I just cheated on this. I just took the SRA test and everything. So I don't know if he has also read several. So this is to turn a kidney stone. His worksheets on similes and inferring answers from context were good, showed careful thought. His papers on comprehension of the reading material were well written. He also completed several book reports. Right. Brian finishes the weekly spelling unit. I guess it was 8th grade there. I'm thinking when I cheated all the time, then I got caught. I'd put a list in between my legs and cheat off of it. And then one time, her name was Elsa Aguilera, so she sat way over here in the room. And I was S, and I was way over here. And Betty Rupp, we'd take the pre-test for the following week, and if you aced it, you didn't have to take the following week. So I'd cheat and put the list between my legs. And one day Miss Rupp goes, "Why don't you get up and exchange your paper with Elsa?" And I froze, because if I had gotten up, the list was right there. I had Clay Nessel right here. Clay, read that English guy. What's his name? William Fall. But I froze and I didn't stand up. And she just came, and it just got to these standoffs. She goes, "Aren't you going to do it?" And I'm like, and I think she thinks I wet my pants or something, because she backed off and said, "I'll just do it for you." But I'm wondering why. I bet she thinks I wet my pants, because we had a stare down going, and then she blinked. Oh, that was bad. But yeah, I cheated on spelling tests in 8th grade. That was Betty Rupp, 8th grade. I know that. Figures engineering, they spell so well. Spells well. His papers on outlining identification subjects and predicates showed good understanding. Not C+ good. Oh, that's shameful. Showed imagination. He has covered units on China, Japan. I did South America, but that was 7th. Primary elections, don't remember any of that. Report on Rice, China. Yeah, but what about that stellar review from Civil War? Their staff is still talking about that. He writes so clearly. It's a little garbled, but, plagiarism. Brian covered the units on electricity and molecular theory. Weird. Oh, man. He also participated in an outdoor education class. No idea. Insects. Did not turn in two Rome work assignments. His test scores did not show a good understanding of the material. Oh, well, okay, mister, I know what the material in college, but just don't know how to take a test. Ugh, but I do remember this. Will report to 7th grade. Woohoo! Alright, I've worked with crime number factors. Crime numbers? Oh, prime numbers. Oh my god. Does that look like C? It's like, Brian worked with crime numbers. It's like, he's doing stats for Cook County when he gets arrested. Oh my god, it's like, crime numbers, factors, fractions. Oh god. In basic concepts of geometry. Brian worked at his own sped. It showed good understanding of math principles. None. Recommendations, none. He's lost. He's done. Alright, last one. Brian has completed his work carefully and on schedule. Except for the crime numbers. We're waiting for those stats. The FBI needs a new 10 list. Oh, he has worked well alone and in group situations. He accepts authority? Oh, no! I'm Captain Unauthority. No, this is Johnny Cochran. The glove doesn't fit. Rip it off. Don't do this again. Don't pull out things and think it's going to work. Oh, I should have previewed these. He has developed a more hoppy attitude about school than most of his classmates. Oh, I don't know what's going on there. That's not following my story. Personal growth and adjustment. I don't remember this, but I imagine I was so self-conscious that I would dread something like that. I mean, I still do to some extent. Oh, that's too fun. Crime, Mom. Crime numbers? Did I do a report on crime? Then I saw factors. Like, what? Oh, prime numbers. Okay, hold on. I'm deleting these off and that kind of popped up. And it's just like, oh, good. Get this guy back over. It's like, oh, good. No, that's not working. Hold on. Some also tell this story while I had flashed up. And, oh, I just can't do that. And so this was just a couple of years ago when I was at the dental frat. And I came to Ann Arbor for neck surgery, this 5-level neck surgery. It's like, come on, come over here and get it done, and it doesn't get done. And I lived at this place. I thought I was going to be here for 4 months. Well, guess how that game plan worked out. I'm still here. Anyway, so I got so tired of not doing anything. So I started renovating this kitchen and hallway and dining room area. Well, I was helping a contractor in there, but I put all these in. So, you know, I talk about neat back and neck and all this. I can't keep me down too long. This was a painted floor. I don't want to go through this. I just wanted to. Okay, well, see, I don't want to go through all these. That was a bathroom I fixed up. And I was like, tell this guy, get some pictures. So you say, it's like, okay, this is cool. Should I hold it like this? Would that work? Okay, then like this. Okay. But what happened here was the guy that I was helping out, the project manager, Joe, well, anyway, I got kicked out of here. And I lost a bunch of posters. But not the point. Okay, I'm just going to do a kind of quick thing. I have all these pictures. They're not all mine, or most of them aren't, but I can at least give you a background. I just can't talk about things without looking at something and explaining. So this was a file where I've got all these testimony picture files. And so just talking about my mother. She was from Cincinnati, and she was born in 1931, and she had one sister, and her mother, I gotta stop saying, and so her mother divorced relatively young into the marriage. Her father allegedly was cruel to her in many ways. We'll just leave it at that. And so her mother was divorced, raising 2 daughters in the 30s. And Nana was born in 1903, and she was just the bee's knees. Leave it at that. So she was born in Cincinnati. I don't know why I put that in. And it was right across this river from where my father-in-law, future father-in-law, because he was from Kentucky, right across the street in Covington. Irony. This is Cincinnati. So, looking back, or when you're that old, you think everyone's, like that. That mom and dad are June Ward Cleaver, and that's the way you are, because your normal is within that. You only know one thing, so your normal becomes that one thing. But you get older, then you kind of realize that that's normal. So we thought we were like this. We had one family photo. This isn't us, by the way. But that's just like, and that's real close. But get the age difference of about 18 months, and that'd be real close. Yeah, goofball, the freckles. Yeah. Shirt, no tie. Dad, yeah, well, no, you've seen him, but, oh, the ring finger's longer on June. June, tell me these, no. Some people will know what that means when the ring finger's longer. Oh, June, tell me it's not so. No, it's not so. It can't be. Anyway, you were like, what is he talking about? Go look at the transvestigations that are going on, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. But that's what we thought we were. All right, I should have looked this over more. Okay, maybe that's how my father perceived me. I don't know why I put that in there, but that's what probably Miles perceived me. I'm just going to do this off the fly, because I can't remember what I used all these for. They'll come back. There's a reason for everything. Man, look at the little punch on... Jeez, Wally. And, but that's how we thought we were. We're growing up, and it's like, got a dad, I got an older brother, I've got a mom. That's what I thought I was. It's like, what's Brian doing out there? One time I climbed a tree in the front yard, or outside the living room, and whenever Spanish flu came around Chicago areas the year it happened, because my father had Spanish flu, and he used to travel quite a bit, and he was flying out of O'Hare at the, typical job. Oh, I just realized I had this off to the side. Oh, well. Oh, well. We'll work it out. And one day, I climbed this tree in the front by the bay window, and I get to the top and I froze. Absolutely froze. And long story short, I gotta turn the radio down. Of course, now the song that's playing is Red, Red Wine. Jeez. So I climb this tree, and I get up probably 30 feet. I'm pretty good guesstimate of height and stuff. And I'm 30 feet up, and Miles is sick. He's supposed to fly out that afternoon. It's a Sunday. I decided to do a knucklehead thing, and he had to get out the extension ladder and, work its way through all these branches and come up and get me out of this tree. Oh, I never heard the end of that. So I was like, oh, Brian's going back. Oh, and then the other tree story. There was hold on. Okay, so this is the other time that we had, 14 acres of woods. Go figure. We've got a bunch of trees. And I go climbing up this tree. My brother and I are goofing around after school one day. And I slide down. And my feet are on one side of this split in a tree. And my head's on the other. And my body's wedged in between. So I'm stuck. I mean stuck. And can't get out and start hyperventilating, and my brother's tickling my feet, and I'm laughing, and I'm going down lower and lower, and I'm starting to panic, and my chest is hurting, and finally my mother wasn't home, and then she came home, and she comes back there, and my he's standing up. I don't have them drawn in, but my brother's standing off to the side just laughing like there's no tomorrow. I'm getting scared. I have a hard time. Oh, if I do that, it starts bringing back memories. So I'm wedged. My mother's in hysterics. Wait till your father gets home. I don't know what to do. Well, call the paramedic. No, I might give them the riot act if they tear my pantyhose or something. Prior story, if anyone's like, what? I hope I don't keep doing that, but... So I wedged, and so finally Miles came, and they worked me out, but was I stuck? My brother... Oh, that was bad. So that's my other tree story. But anyway, so going back, it was like, yeah, it looks like he's climbing a tree. I'm going to go But that's how we thought we were growing up. Sort of. you know, play baseball. Well, here's the deal with the baseball. I wanted to play Little League like there's no tomorrow. And they said, sure, but stay with the cello one more year, and after that, we'll sign you up for Little League. So the next year, I signed up for cello. Little League season came up, sign-ups and all that. Hey, Little League sign-up is, yeah, but, you know, we've invested in this cello, kinda. And even though you don't play at home and practice at all, and we send you to some teacher every week on Tuesdays for $7. I remember giving her the check. I remember her name. And when Carolyn went to the beauty parlor, I get dropped off for the cello lessons. It sounded like Lifto, because I always thought it was ironic. I had Lifto for a second grade. But they kept saying, yeah, say breathing, yeah, just keep up the cello. All right, Dad, I will. Watch, I'm going to be a home run hitter. Anyway, so I'd listen to the Cubs all the time. I'll get to that. But, so they gave me this little false contract, or they reneged on their contract. R-E-N-N-E-G, renege. All you people out there, I can tell. And they had this false contract with me and never fulfilled it. Oh, 5 years I played cello. 5th grade through 9th. God, that's cruel. That was, I don't care what you did to my knees. The Little League, unforgivable. God. Alright, yeah, I had that. It was like my father and my brother they just got along. And it's like, no, come on, I want attention, Dad. Nope, Wally's my son. This is my son. And again, the car, I was always in the back seat, like Jerry always in the back seat. Again, people were like, what, Jerry? Always? Just listen to part last week. And where am I going? Oh, so they were in the front seat. Alan obviously not driving. But they would just go yakety-yak, yakety-yak, yak-yak about stock market. It's always about finance and stock market. My brother got 6 shares of Jewel stock or 30 shares of stool jock. Wow, dyslexia talk I. Stool jock. That's great. Jewel stock. And Sweet Caroline just came on. And he's there all the time. I'm just trying to not get nervous. That's what I do. I get nervous in front of it. It's like, I want to say it right. Yeah, you're doing a good job, son. Anyway, but that's my train of thought. Don't look over my shoulder. He's God. He has to. Okay. Anyway, so they'd sit in the front seat and talk about Jewel stock. And they had something to talk about, bonded, and I'm in the back seat. I don't have anything to talk about. Hey, you guys, did you hear? No, just shut up. And I would always listen to the Cubs games. That's where I grew up on the Cubs. You know, grandmother, Nana, she was so cool. She would pop that old style. She'd pour it in a glass, but she popped the old style now and then. She was a sherry, like a tiny little glass of sherry, and do one of those little giggly, like, I couldn't have 2. Meanwhile, she's... She probably has a Cuban cigar run going on every 2 weeks. Oh, I never finished the Paul Bourne story. Oh my God, I gotta finish that up real quick. So we're out at this dude ranch, because I was a dude, 7-year-old, out of the dude ranch. In fact, it was 68. That was the year the Plymouth, we went out there when the Plymouth, the Fury 3 was getting fixed. Oh my God, that's right. So it was 1968. We went to Rewa and this dude ranch for 3 weeks. No, was it 3? It was at least 2 weeks. And this dude ranch, my brother, the Wally, and Eddie, Burt Whistle was the kid's name. Dave Burt Whistle. And they kind of picked on me because my brother found someone that liked him okay. Usually, well, whatever. And they kind of picked on me. But, okay, so we're out in Colorado at this dude ranch. And that's where we got the name Duffy, because my father's horse's name was Duffy. Oh, God. And so we're out there, and then we get this phone call from Nana, and she goes, I'm going to marry Paul Bourne. And maybe I did tell this story. It's not a long story. It was like, well, I already told it. She said she was getting married. It turned out to be this 80-year-old guy. This was 68. She was born in 03. So there's the math there. No, she was 65. So it was 15 years her senior. Was this Paul Bourne guy. And Paul Bourne was kind of like my father-in-law. There's just this gregarious guy that had that permanent tan and always played golf. Everyone loved him because he was so popular. And my Nana hooked it up with old Paul Bourne. So she went from Bop, B-O-P-P, to Bourne, B-O-R-N. She didn't want to even mess around with bath towels changing the initials. She just didn't change letters. And married Paul Bourne, and they bought a house on the other side of town. Well, you see this coming. He ended up passing away, but I hope she had a time of her life with Paul Bourne. He played cribbage. My brother played cribbage with him, but we spent one summer with neighborhood kids, and it was 71. I'm probably going to screw this up because I think I act like I know. But it was Pete Rose's and Johnny Bench's freshman year. Their rookie year. So that's when we spent the summer over there. I want to say 71, but it's probably 70. But anyway, it was that year that we spent a summer with neighborhood kids. Washed bikes. Washing bikes for my brother and his friend. Not Burt Whistle, this other guy. Callahan. Tommy Callahan comes to mind. Anyway, so my brother set up this bike washing business. I was the laborer with this other kid. And at the end of the day, my brother collected all the money, then give me some change to go over to 7-Eleven to get a Slurpee, thinking he's nice to me to give me money. I'm doing all the labor. Oh, God. And I'm not getting into the labor stuff yet, but, oh, God. I mean, I did all the labor at the house. I did everything to get the attention. Where's the picture? I did dishes. I mowed the lawn. I still have dreams of mowing and raking the yard. Not within 2 months ago, I had a dream where I wake up, and there are all these leaves. The dog runs need to be emptied for all their poo. And I have this dream where it's like, oh, no one's taking care of the dog. We had another dog, Sandy, which was my dog. I was Timmy, and that was Lassie, because people abandoned dogs. You know what? People that abandon dogs on country roads. Oh, your day is coming. Oh, your day is coming. What gets into your minds? No, never mind. But, so we had an abandoned dog named Sandy, and Sandy was part shepherd, part collie, part sweetheart, and that was my dog, kinda, off the record. And when Duffy probably killed Sandy. I'm not kidding. Because they ran around each other, then all of a sudden Sandy had hip dysplasia. We took him. In fact, it might have been when we went out to Colorado that we took him to the kennels. It was Duffy. I know it was Duffy. And then Sandy came back and her hip was out, and we thought the people at the kennels did something because Sandy's hip started going out, and oh, that was sad. But Sandy was a great dog. Then we had Barney. Okay, I'm already down a gravel road, and this was an intro for something else. Anyway. So yeah, I did all the chores and all the yard work, and Alan did nothing. He was a Wally / Eddie Haskell. He had both of those DNA in here. He could be, that was Jekyll Hyde for Alan. He could do the, yep, Dad, I will. I'll take care of it. Hey, Brian, why don't you do Dad a solid and rake and wash the cars and wax them too? Okay, if that gets acceptance, I will. Oh, God. Did dishes? I don't know what. Oh, my mother, because my mother didn't have kids that they adopted. I don't know what this is. Yes, probably the son my father wanted. He was in another movie. It's like, that's the one I wanted, and I got Beaver. I got old Beav. And so they couldn't have kids, and medical tests. It's like, well, we see your husband shooting nothing. Anyway, I don't even know why I did this. It was the fertility thing. They found out they couldn't have kids. And I don't know. I'm winging it because I can't remember why I put all these, oh, can't have kids, let's adopt. Ooh. I don't know. And it was something funny at the time. I don't know what to do now. Oh, that's just, ugh. And, but yeah, we were the family. And then Miles. Here we're going to get Miles's backstory. So he said he was born in, well, he was born in Tokyo. We got records on that one. And his mother's from Russia. We'll just call it that. I've got the name. Then my grandfather was from Czechoslovakia. His story is they came over here. Milos, Miles's father, Milos, was a steel manufacturing magnate, was the word used. And apparently had lots of wealth and everything else. And then allegedly the war broke out, and so the Japanese took them prisoners and put my father into a POW camp. But that story doesn't fly, because my father spoke at least 4 languages, and the 2 or 3 pictures we saw of him as a little kid, he's wearing the beanie and the clothes, and so this kid got an education somehow. And I'll write his side of the story and then what I think happened, and I could be totally wrong. I'll leave room for that, but I'm not. I'll do a Barkley. I could be wrong, but I'm not. And he said, so his story was he was in a POW camp and they beat him and tortured him and abused him physically, sexually, etc. And because of all that, he couldn't have kids. And of course, if you have all that, you don't have residual effects. You become normal. You become Ward Cleaver right away, right? And you don't have any perversions. And then the story was that he somehow ended up in Elgin at the Elgin Academy in high school after the war ended. And my mother was from Elgin because her mother was from Elgin, or the family was, and had roots in the Elgin area. And I'll get to that. And that's how Miles ended up with Carolyn as high school kids. Which makes absolutely no sense of how the dartboard, after a guy gets out of a POW camp, the family throws a dartboard. Allegedly, he never saw his folks until they came to America from right after the war. It just doesn't fly. And, the smattering of records from Gene Tree or whatever those things are, that they, it showed that he came to America, or they came to America in the 50s, and I don't know. It just didn't jibe. But supposedly the grandparents, Milos and Olga, didn't come to the States until 62. And he actually put in our front walk. But they were laborers. They were skilled laborers. They were help. They were servants. My Olga, oh, she is just a sad human being. She didn't talk. She spoke English, but it was real quiet. Just, and all they do is whine and creak. And my brother and I would go over there. Saturday was chores. We'd always do chores. And Saturday we'd get in the car, and that's when my brother and father were in the front seat, and go over to, well, we call it grandmother and grandfather, Olga and Milos's. She would make my brother tea and make me hot chocolate. They'd be, well, we got to do, hold on. Okay, this is good enough for now. So we go over to their apartment. They had, a little hallway and back bedroom. They lived in separate bedrooms and stuff. It was just weird. So every Saturday we'd go over to their place. They had the couch, 3-person couch, and Miles would sit over here. I'd always have hot chocolate. She made us hot chocolate and tea. My brother had tea. And the thing is, my back's to them, and they're not yammering. That's the whole point. They would just kind of like, so, it's just weird. There's mumble. That's all they did was mumble. And, so my brother we wouldn't have anything to talk. We didn't have anything to talk about during the week. So we'd just be sitting over here doing our own thing and, never included in the conversation. But that's all I remember. And then they listened to some weird radio, like classic, it was classic rock. It wasn't the devil's music. Come on, guys, Springsteen. But the point was, so they had all these weird artifacts around. And when I say weird, they were like these paintings that looked like they were worth a fortune. But these are as simple can be. I mean, he probably had 18 words in his lexicon, and she probably had 3, and she had to ask permission to use it. It wasn't that bad, but she never talked. Her skin was unbelievably soft, but anyway, they weren't magnets. There's no magnet here. This dude was a servant. Oh! And I can even show that. I know I can show it. So, we found out, all of a sudden, 1969-ish, we get this knock at the front door or something. Miles is losing his mind, and so-and-so is going to show up. Well, who's this guy? Well, we just want to let you know that Miles's mother, when I say we, Miles never told us anything. Carolyn said, well, it turns out that your grandmother was married before he married your grandfather, and she had a boy, and it was a little Japanese boy, and, his name, Don. I can stick with Don, because, I did verify this a few weeks ago, but I know I may be wrong. But anyway, so Don shows up at our house out in Elgin, and it turns out to be Miles's half-brother. Miles hates Japanese for whatever reason. We'll just leave it at that. And so this guy shows up, and he's trying to be all, jovial. He was born in 1920. That's how I know, because when I looked it up a few weeks ago, that I'm off of every public record, by the way. I finally found something that'll have me in with Miles and Alan and Patty and everyone else. Patty, her kids, Alan's kids. I'm off all the lists. That's pretty funny. But, so this half-brother guy comes up. I want to say Don. And Japanese. And, or I should say Asian-looking. So, looking Japanese. And it turns out that it's Miles's older half-brother by 11 years, because it's 1920. Miles was born in 1931. And this guy is really gregarious and stuff, and he brought Alan a tape recorder. What did he give me? I can't remember, but the guy was probably like ground floor of Toshiba or something, Sanyo, and and anyway, but he gave both of us a, typical Japanese. Probably gave me a camera and took pictures. Kidding. I didn't come up with the stereotypes. And so he gave me something, and Alan a tape recorder, and was kind of like all chummy chum, but Miles would have nothing to do with Don. And so that was weird. But that was, the story's breaking down more and more that, okay, now she had another marriage to obviously a Japanese guy. No, she was a servant and did a little Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin with the helpers. So come on, don't do this. We're stupid. I do stupid things. Doesn't mean I'm stupid. Well, usually it does. I take that back. Could I have the court reporter play that back? I want to amend my statement. Objection! Can I object myself? Okay, on that note, so yeah, every day it was like this. And then we'd all go to the grocery store and do all the shopping and bring them back and unload all the groceries. And Miles would say, but, what they talked about? Oh, no idea. And it turns out they hated us. They were too old and sweet and everything else, but the culture, and I don't fault them. Well, I fault them as human beings not looking above their culture, but their culture said, if you don't have your own kid, then that's a bastard child. Well, legally, technically I am adopted because our parents were unwed. I don't know anything about Alan's natural mother. I just hear this thing about being a student at Michigan State and father was a prof. And I added on that she wanted to pass the course and then got me. And, to-doot-doot. But Miles, they, bear children. That's their culture. Bear children. You can't bear children. Oh. And he was a lonely child. And I believe that. But yeah, the only few pictures, he's got the school uniform on. Maybe that's what I had that. Hold on. I think that's why I had this in here, is that's the only picture I have of my father. But no, he had one of those schoolboy outfits on, like the Yeoman Kid, or the Children of the Corn Kid. Not saying that that's apropos. It's apropos, but I'm not saying it. But that's the only picture I saw of Miles when he was a kid. He had on one of these class uniforms. So if he's born in 31, and he's wearing one of these, that's during World War II. Because, he wasn't 7, 8, 9. He was 12, 14-ish. So, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what to believe. But I know it in the story that they used. Kind of like September 11th. Not the official story. Show me a plane. Anyway, we're not doing that. So he was Japan, and then allegedly got let out. And again, how does that work out? How does the guy know all these languages, comes to Elgin Academy, is this barrel-chested dude that it just makes no sense. And he had a massive chest. And where am I going with this? So, backstory was just there. Not so much this, but one of the pictures of him as a little kid was like that. So I don't know where I'm going with this, but I put all these in for a reason. They got married, and Actually, they got married at a Catholic church in Chicago to one of the famous cardinals, Bernardine or something. And back in '53, one of the big cardinals turned out that that went on was the one that married them. And so enter your Catholic, you know, association with Miles. Oh, he sat on the board of directors for one of these downtown churches. So does that make any sense? That, okay, we know by this time we all know about Miles's extracurricular with the magazines and stuff. But to be on the board of directors for a church, Catholic dialysis, I can't even say it, diocese in Chicago, and the guy's agnostic. Oh my gosh. We did go to a Catholic. Wow, what is with the mouth today? We did go to, their family showed up, but they, I don't know why I put all these in. It was like, this was their wedding. And, so, yeah, we went to church. We went to a Catholic church for about a year not St. Charles, in Bartlett. So you took the train out of Bartlett every day. And we went to this little Catholic church in Bartlett for about a year, but then out of the blue, we went and then we didn't go. But it was a miserable experience because we go in, I was uncomfortable, I was a little fidgety kid. I needed the Ritalin. No. And we get back in the car and Miles would go, "What did you learn in church today?" And seriously? You ask an 8? I was probably 8 or 9. You're kidding me, right? You want me to remember what this guy yacked about in Scripture and kneeling up and sitting down and, the droning, and then all I do is look at the little thing on the program to see what stanza they're only going to do 2 stanzas. Oh, thank God. That was church for me. It was terrible. And you go, "What'd you learn in school or what'd you learn in church today?" "I don't know." Then he'd kind of rake me over the coals with that. "Weren't you paying attention? Why are we going to do this? If you don't pay attention." That's pretty close to the way it turned out. Because did he ask Alan? No. Mr. Atheist? He probably knew Alan was such an atheist. He's like, "Oh, geez, that just bounced." I mean, I'm surprised Alan didn't just kind of like run outside going, "Oh, Dad, it's..." But he'd ask me, and I was like, "I don't know. Aren't you paying attention? Why do we do this thing? We're doing it for you. We're always doing it for me." And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, boom. So that's why I like football on Sundays. Guy, look at old football games from the 70s. Oh, I loved, hated the Cowboys, but all the old uniforms and stuff. Fran Tarkington, loved the Vikings, the Bears. Oh, I could have rattled off the names, and I should. Oh, my God. Bobby Douglas was the one I'm trying to think of, but here's a Rocket Man arm that plays with a broken wrist or something. And it's like Bob Averdini was a coach. Probably got that screwed up a little, but the Piccolo and Gale Sayers and stuff. Oh, man, does that just bring good memories. Anyway. So, this is, whatever. Anyway, then this is, and then that, and that, and that. And then there's that. And my mother had an affair. You're a monster. I don't know. I put these in for a good reason. It's kind of like, Miles did have bad skin in high school, but anyway, I put these in for the porn. When I talked about the porn movies, I always had an anecdote. Maybe that's why I put these in here. Because I just say, well, this was the porn movies and stuff. But that first one, if I haven't kind of, I won't say beat around the bush with it too much, but the first one was this black and white with this couple, and Alan sold the story that they were family movies, which obviously they weren't. And I think he knew what he was doing and testing to see how I reacted. But, you know, we're watching this thing, and, you know, she's a blonde. He's this guy that looks like 007 with the sunglasses. She's got Jackie O glasses on. And all of a sudden, they're in this car, and he gets out, and he back to the camera, but he starts peeing in the field. And it's like, what? And the first thing that I think of is, who is filming this? So the presence of mind for a 9-year-old was, and I forgot the mic was off to the side. I was probably getting all hopped up. You could probably hear me. And watching this film, and he gets out back to camera and starts peeing in the field. But you can tell that that's what he's doing. And then she comes over and then starts, she aimed to appease. And then that was it. That was all she wrote. And I got to kind of slide this over. And so that was it. That was the first porn movie that we saw, or I saw. Alan, again, I think he knew in hindsight. And that was it. We looked at a couple more, and I wasn't appalled. I was too young to be appalled. I was 5-6 years away from being appalled. So I didn't know. I just knew it was dirty. That's what. But I didn't even know what dirty was. I just knew dirty. It's that ambiguous. It's like girl germs. Ugh! Don't touch me. Cross your fingers. I got girl germs. Those were horrible, but no one knew what they were. Anyway, so I think that's why I put them in. It was to talk about the porn stuff. But we've already covered all that. So, yeah. I have no idea. So my mother had scarlet fever, and I think the deal was she was kind of a hypochondriac. Well, she was a hypochondriac. What am I saying? That when she got the flu, it was the worst flu ever. When she had a cold, worst cold ever. But when she got sick, never a word. Never a word. But anyway, she had scarlet fever, and she'd bring that up every now and then. I had scarlet fever. They had to put me in a bathtub for weeks with ice cubes. Kind of doted on the scarlet fever. And then the rash. But this is what I ended up looking like. This is what my leg kind of looked like, times 2. Wait, don't ever Google rashes. Or second-degree burns. Oh. And, but yeah, so I turned out to be allergic to penicillin. And when they put that anatopical cream on me, that I had this violent reaction. In fact, I didn't have that benzoid reaction once. But I hope that radio's not too loud. Hold on. So the reason I have the music kind of loud is because I want some evidence to show that this is all continuous taping, and all I'm doing is taking out like little snippets of when I snort and spit when I laugh at myself. And kind of, you know, any editing is just kind of cutting toenails off the thing instead of big edits. Because I want this to come out across as legitimate. I mean, it's legitimate, but I can't prove it. And you can tell when I script a joke or trying to be funny is because it's just deadpan. Because when I crack myself... Okay, stop it. So the 3 reactions to benzoin. The first one was after the first surgery. No. The first one was after the knee surgery in 85. They sprayed that on, had the massive reaction, went in, first and second degree burn. Well, it was second, third, when they put on a stripe of tape on the side. And when they peeled that off, I had a racing stripe. It looked like I had football pants on. Because that just took off a layer of skin. When they ripped that, and we're like, sorry, dude, you just, drink some whiskey. Reach over there and no, I'm kidding. But they peeled that tape off, and I had that scar, like a 2-year scar that faded away. But, oh. So that was the first one. The second one... Oh, now I gotta think. Because the last time was after my first back surgery. I had another time they sprayed it. Oh, okay. I got it. So 85 was when they, on my leg, the benzoin. I had ACL reconstructive in 89. I'd been at CTL for about a year and change. It was November. It was a week before my office mate Pete had his first kid, Carolyn. It was a week after. She was born the 21st, and I remember the 14th. I'm just trying to show I remember some stuff pretty well. And after the ACL, it turned out that and this was ACL old school, where you're in for a week, not like now where you're getting your teeth cleaned, as I put it in here. And again, it's 1,000 tapes ago that probably got erased. But so I was in for a week at the St. Francis, which is a cardiac hospital. But it ended up they sprayed the benzoin on that time too, but that time it got in my crotch. And honestly, it was like wearing underwear. It was like wearing underoos when you're 100 years old. Oh, it was no good. I don't even know if that was a terrible analogy, but way too tight underwear was the point. And it felt like just being and so that was 2. Then the third time was after the last the first back surgery. Was they sprayed a little bit on my back, on the small of my back. And I told them, I said, I'm allergic to benzoin. Don't even think about it. And you have surgery, and at least 6 people ask you, are you allergic to anything? Are you this? And I always say penicillin and benzoin. It turns out later latex gloves. But that's a Tim story. We don't want to go there yet. And it's so easy to, hey, I'm on the road right here. It's the off-ramp's right here. There's the dirt road. We may not be back this way. Anyway, we get back on. No squirrels. And they sprayed this on the small of my back, and I didn't know it. And I go home, and that was April 1st, or April... Yeah, that was April 1st. And I come home from the surgery. It's like I've been out for 3 months, barely walk, crumpled over, I can't move. They do this surgery, and all of a sudden it's like, huh, what? I'm fine. So I go home, then all of a sudden I get this, then that night starts getting a little itchy. And it was 2 days I was in the hospital. No, probably three. And we're up to the back surgery in case I bounced around too much. So the first back surgery, laminectomy, discectomy. And I go home and I just have that weird feeling. And I call up the doctor. I go, did you use benzoin? And he goes, why? And right there I knew it. I knew what he did. And this was a Friday. Because I had surgery on Tuesday. Yeah, that makes sense. And this stuff takes about 72 hours to start cooking on me. Or my body just says, oh, let's get out of harm's way where there's immediate relief. We'll let it cook for a couple days. And I called the doctor up on a Friday, because they always give you an emergency number or something. And the doctor, I remember him saying, "Why?" And I said, "My back feels like it's going to, you know." And he goes, "I'll meet you in the ER." So I go to he goes, "I remember you now telling me that." Go to the ER. And by this time, it's this times 2, times 3. And now it doesn't take long. Like I was saying with the first time the benzoin on my cast, that night when we went out to Oktoberfest, we're all dancing around and stuff, that my leg was just baking. And I could feel the heat, and, you know, I kid around with the hot dog, the ballpark Frank plumps when you cook them, but my leg was swollen, and I've got chicken legs, and my leg was just ballooning out of that cast. Well, anyway, this go around, my back is turning this, and then this, and then this, and then finally purple. And it got so bad in a short period of time in the ER that I'm on my back, and all I hear is that curtain. That's ironic. Hold on. We'll make do. I was in this bed in the ER, and I'm on my back, and all I hear is the curtains going whoosh, and then you hear this reaction. Oh my God. And then it'd be drawn shut. And I'm on my back. It's like, what? What are you guys seeing? What's going on? And then you hear someone else. You hear the whoosh. Oh my God. I've never seen that before. And it turns out that they had sprayed the benzoin on, and now my back is cooking. But I called myself Baboon Butt. I had a red baboon butt because this reaction is turning like these guys had never seen before. And then I get the bill. I finally get the bill for all these services, and it's consulting fees for, 10 minutes of Dr. So-and-so that came in. But all that was these guys coming in. Oh, lordy, 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 that's no good. And then coming back. But that was the third. I had 3 reactions with benzoin. So let's just get back. But yeah, and then you tell 6, then the more surgeries you have before surgery. Have you had any prior surgeries? Yes. Let me start. 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 2, and 85, 87, or 89. And the nurse would just throw down the pencil and just shut up. And they go, okay, we'll just put down a lot. I was like, well, make sure you write good notes, because someone might misconstrue that as mental hospitals and not surgeries. Self-induced humor and those that have been keeping up. Anyway. So yeah, she's about scarlet fever for some reason. We were a smart family. Rod would... Oh, Rod. Talk about the stories. Rod would be in the other room, and I'd have a rep in my room, and all of a sudden you'd hear Rod go, "Suction head!" And the vendor I'd be talking to would go, "What's suction head?" But Rod would just yell out, "Suction head!" Anyway. That's probably what a suction head looks like, because that's what reminded me of. And I don't know. That's the stay schools growing up. That's just, you guys are normal, right? Nah. I don't know. I use that for something. But I don't know what's going on here. Okay. So yeah, they got married. That was what this was. They got married in Chicago, and they just should have never... They did what Jane and I did. You got married because that's what you do, and the resume said these are 2 people that are compatible. But he's just sociopath. She could have been halfway normal, but But it's one of those half empty, half full glasses of crazy. Because of him, she just went full glass of crazy. And without him, she could have been just a half a glass that kept reserved. But she just went full bore nuts. And how could you not? How could you not? So, all right, hold on. Wow, I'm either at 1 hour and 1 minute or 1 minute and 1 second.